The NFL season is a little less than 4 months away. Well, hopefully, because with this whole little Rona situation going around, we really don't know if it's even gonna start at that time. I mean, I hope it does. I'm hoping this whole thing goes away soon because I want to watch NFL football. I mean, I don't care about baseball. Baseball's lame to me. I've already said that before. It does suck that the NBA playoffs aren't going to happen this year, most likely. But I cannot live without the NFL season. So hopefully things go as planned. And I think we'll talk about that in another video. This whole little Rona situation. Will the season start on time? What will they do? I think I'll save that for another video. But anyways, here are my playoff predictions for the 2020 season. And I'm going to start off with the NFC. First, I'm going to give you a rundown of the teams. And then I'll, match them up according to their seeds and determine who will win and who will determine the champion in each conference and then eventually the Super Bowl. So we're going to start from bottom to top. So coming in with the 7th seed, I have the Green Bay Packers with a 9-7 record. And I think the Packers just squeeze into the playoffs. Honestly, I don't think this Packers team is good at all. They didn't do anything to fix that atrocious run defense from last year. They didn't give Aaron Rodgers any extra help with, any receiving threats. Instead, they drafted his replacement quarterback, and then they drafted another running back in the second round. Yeah, I think this Packers team, they barely make the playoffs, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they didn't make the playoffs. Now, coming in with the 6th seed, I got the Seattle Seahawks with an 11-5 record. This Seahawks team, man, if you take away Russell Wilson, this is a 2-win team. I don't really like the Seahawks team. Yeah, they have DK Metcalf, they have Lockett, they have Carson, but their O-line is still trash. Their defense is not anywhere near as good as the Legion of Boom days. So this team is kind of just there. It's the Russell Wilson show. This team goes as far as Russell Wilson goes. And honestly, as long as Russell Wilson's there, this team will keep making the playoffs. But I don't see Russell Wilson being able to will this team to another Super Bowl anytime soon unless he gets some serious help. And coming in with the 5th seed, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a 12-4 record. I think Tom Brady will go over there and just turn things around for them. He's an upgrade over Jameis Winston. As much as I love Jameis Winston and as much fun as I think he is to watch, Tom Brady's a definite upgrade. They upgraded the O-line, that defense, those DBs, they're, maturing. They were young players last year. They're going into year 2. And, they got Gronk now. So, yeah. This Buccaneers team's going to be very, very good. Coming in with the 4th seed, the NFC East champions, I have the Cowboys winning the division by just a hair with a 9-7 record. I think that division sucks. I think it was bad last year, and I think it'll be bad this year. And as for the Cowboys, I don't like Mike McCarthy, man. I don't think Mike McCarthy's a good coach, but I think the Cowboys have some talent on that team, and they'll be able to squeeze into the playoffs. Coming in with the 3rd seed, I got the Minnesota Vikings with a 10-6 record. I mean, even though that secondary isn't good, even though they lost Stephon Diggs, I trust Kirk Cousins and Zimmer way more than I trust Trubisky with the Bears, even though that defense is still awesome, and way more than I trust that terrible built Packers team. So, yeah, I trust the Vikings more than them, and I think the Vikings win the NFC North. And coming in with the 2 seed, I have the NFC West champions, the San Francisco 49ers, with a 12-4 record. And I think the Niners are the same team from last year. They got that nasty defense that I absolutely love. They didn't do much improvement in my opinion, but I think that team is well built to the point that they can be repeat contenders in the NFC. And coming in with the 1 seed, I got the New Orleans Saints with a 13-3 record. Even though Drew Brees, some people are saying he's a little bit washed now, and I see it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna pretend I don't see it, but he's a very smart quarterback. And the reason why I have the Saints edging out Tom Brady and the Buccaneers is because Drew Brees has been with New Orleans. Those guys, they've been together for a while now, so they don't have any extra gelling to do. And with this whole Rona situation going around, we don't know how it's going to affect the training camps and the practice time with the Buccaneers and the other teams in the NFL. So I went with, I guess, continuity. The Saints and Drew Brees have been together for a while, and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they're a new thing. So I think the Saints just barely edge out the Buccaneers and get that number 1 seed and win the NFC South. Now on to the AFC. Starting off with the 7th seed, I have the Tennessee Titans with a 9-7 record. I think the season starts off pretty rough for the Titans, and then they kind of like last year, they turn it around and they go on a little run with Derrick Henry and a nicely built defense and a game manager, Ryan Tannehill. They sneak into the playoffs with a 9-7 record. At the 6th seed, I have the Denver Broncos. I absolutely love their defense, and I love the offense that they've built. Now, I'm not too sure on Drew Lock, but I don't think Drew Lock has to do that much to carry this team to the postseason. He has weapons around him. He has what looks like a decent offensive line. He has 2 running backs in Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay. And that defense, they got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. And that defense is led by Vic Fangio, who's a very good DC in my opinion. So I think this Broncos team is a postseason contender. They can get to the playoffs, and I think they do get to the playoffs with a 9-7 record. At the 5th seed, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers with an 11-5 record. Even though I think Big Ben's a little washed up, I think that Steelers defense is very, very nasty, and even a washed up Big Ben is way better than Mason Rudolph or that Duck quarterback they had there last year. So I think I think this defense can carry Big Ben to an 11-5 record. I think Big Ben can do just enough to win games and get back to the playoffs. At the 4th seed, I have the Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East with a 9-7 record. Now, this division, I think it's a toss-up between the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. I don't think the Patriots will be competitive this year, but hey, they got Belichick, so you never know, they can prove me wrong. But I do think it comes down to those 3 teams. I think all 3 of those teams will finish 9-7, 8-8, 7-9. But I think the Bills get it done with their defense because I don't trust Josh Allen. Josh Allen is worse than Sam Darnold in my opinion, and I think Tua might even be a better quarterback than Josh Allen. I don't think Josh Allen is a very good quarterback, but I think that defense is very good. And with the addition of Stephon Diggs, hey, maybe Stephon Diggs can jump up 50 feet in the air and catch those 50-yard overthrows by Josh Allen. Who knows? But I think the Bills sneak into the playoffs as the 4th seed with a 9-7 record. Coming in at the 3rd seed in the AFC, I have the Houston Texans with a 10-6 record. I think as long as Deshaun Watson is there, this Texans team will always be in the playoffs. I think they have made some improvements to both their offense and defense, but see, with Texans, the problem isn't going to the playoffs. They're kind of always there. Their problem is making a deep playoff run. Will they be able to finally make a deep playoff run here in 2020? We'll find out. Now, coming at the 2 seed, I have the Baltimore Ravens with a 12-4 record. I mean, that roster is stacked. Yeah, coming in at the 1 seed in the AFC with another 12-4 record, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I don't see many teams being able to stop Patrick Mahomes and that speedy offense that they have. Yeah, I think the Chiefs get that home field advantage and first round bye. So now let's move on to Wild Card Weekend. The Packers take on the Niners. The Niners are going to destroy the Packers. The Seahawks are at Minnesota. I see this one being a pretty good game, but ultimately I trust Russell Wilson more than I trust Kirk Cousins in a big game. So I am going with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks going to Minnesota and taking down the Vikings on Wild Card Weekend. I got the Buccaneers traveling to Dallas and taking on the Cowboys. I got Tom Brady making light work of the Cowboys at Jerry World. And then in the AFC, you got the Titans traveling to Baltimore. And honestly, it's going to happen again. I think Tennessee has a perfectly built roster to take down the Ravens. And I think they'll go in there into Baltimore again as the last seed in the AFC and take down Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Then you have the Broncos going to Houston. I have Houston winning this one at home, but I see this one being a very good game between two should-be explosive offenses, and yeah, I see Houston winning this one at home because Deshaun has that playoff experience and the rest of the Texans do, while these Broncos haven't been in the playoffs for quite a while, and Drew Lock, this is his first time stepping in the playoffs. And then you have the Steelers going to Buffalo. I have the Steelers going over there and making Josh Allen throw like 5 interceptions and making him look like deer in the headlights and winning that game pretty easily. Now on to the divisional round. You have the Seahawks traveling to New Orleans, and I have New Orleans coming out on top here. I don't think that Seahawks roster is built well enough to compete with Drew Brees and the Saints, so I think the Saints get the job done. Then you got the Buccaneers traveling to San Francisco, and I think Tom Brady and the Bucs go over there and take down the 49ers, so the Niners will not be going back to the Super Bowl. And then you have the Titans going to Kansas City, where I think the Titans will get taken down again for a second year in a row. Their season ends in Kansas City. And then you got the Steelers traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. And I think the Texans win this game. I think their offense will be able to outperform Ben Roethlisberger. I think at this point in time, the Texans defense and Texans offense will be firing on all cylinders. Because if you watched my Texans season prediction video, I had the Texans losing to the Steelers week 3, because at that point I didn't think the Texans offense or defense would be kind of clicking yet, because they have new pieces. But at this point in the divisional round of the playoffs, I think they will all be clicking, and I think they'll take down Pittsburgh at home. And actually, this will be the first time the Texans host a divisional round game, and I think that will kind of help them, motivate them, and have them finally getting to an AFC championship game for the first time in franchise history. Now on to the conference championship games. I have the Buccaneers traveling to New Orleans and taking down the Saints. Now earlier in the video, I know I said that I was trusting Breeze more early on because the continuity on that team, while Tom Brady on the Bucs is kind of like a new thing. But at this point in the season, similar to the Texans, they should be firing on all cylinders, and I think they go into New Orleans and take down the Saints. So Tom Brady will go to Tampa Bay and lead the Buccaneers to a Super Bowl. And on the AFC, I have the Texans traveling to the Chiefs and losing. So similar to last year, I think the Texans season ends in Kansas City. I think the Texans win the regular season matchup, but I think their season ends in Kansas City because I just do not think the Texans have it in them to win a road playoff game. I just don't see it. I mean, can they compete with them? Yes, but the Chiefs are at home. Cold weather game, hostile environment for the Texans. I mean, this Texans-Chiefs is going to be a rivalry for years to come. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson for the foreseeable future. This is the new Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. And I think Patrick Mahomes wins in the playoffs again. Deshaun Watson's 2-0 against Mahomes in the regular season, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be 2-0 versus Deshaun Watson in the postseason. Now for the Super Bowl, You got the Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will take down the Chiefs, and Tom Brady will be crowned as the greatest player of all time because he would have proved that over there in New England, hey, it wasn't Belichick, it was me. Tom Brady was the one that made things go in New England. Now, those are just my predictions. I very well could be wrong about all of this, but, at this point, there's not much to do, so, we're just out here having fun and making these fun predictions. These predictions are just, for fun, so they're really not meant to be taken seriously, but if you want to take them seriously, sure, but yeah, that's all I really have for you guys for today. Comment down below your own predictions for the season or your own playoff predictions. And yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell if you haven't done so already so you don't miss another video. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.